All right, let's come down to our mats. We're going to come into a seated position to start the class. You want to get comfy. And cross your legs. If it's uncomfortable to cross your legs, you can kick your legs out in front of you. And let's start by finding ourselves here on the mat. We're breathing in the space, getting ready for class. Start to just ground yourself into the floor beneath you. Relax your shoulders, relax your belly, and just start to concentrate on the breath. It's easy to get caught up in your thoughts, and you may notice that your mind drifts. We're going to gently focus back on the breath every time it drifts. And you want to do it in a way where you're kind and open to bringing the breath back and bringing the awareness back to the breath. Going to sit up a little bit taller in our seat so that the breath can travel into the furthest part of the belly. Maybe take your hands and place them there. And just notice this expansion on the inhale, and on the exhale, the collapse of the navel. And see how much air you can get out of the body. Maybe all the stale air leaves the body on the exhale. Inhale, breathe in, belly fills up. And exhale, the belly is completely empty. Now, throughout this practice, you're going to find that the breath is very important. We want to create good habits around our practice. Let's do a few concentrated breaths together. Exhale all the stale air out of the body until there's none left. Navel touches the spine. Inhale and breathe in to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Pause for a moment, and then exhale to the count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just find your breath. Continue to carry on breathing in this concentrated way, but maybe find a different rhythm that works for you. Tapping into the sense of how you feel right now, and just taking notice on how the breath is infecting the body and what parts of the body maybe are a little tense, and you can send that breath there to start to loosen them up a little bit. And do this for the next few breath cycles. Slowly, we're going to start to gently open the eyes. I'm going to bring our chin down to our chest. Inhale and allow that breath to reach the nape of the neck. Sit up a little bit taller in the seat, structuring the body so that you're shifting the weight from the sits bone up, pivoting the pelvis forward, lifting up through the rib cage, through the chest, through the heart. Chin stays tucked on into the chest. Roll the right ear to the right shoulder. And just sit there for a few moments and pause. Gently, chin comes back to the center chest. And then bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Feel this extension on the right arm if you just maybe give that right shoulder permission to relax. Drop the chin back to the center chest. Roll right ear, right shoulder. Give permission to the left shoulder to relax. Come back to center. Chin to the chest. Left ear, left shoulder. We're going to come down, bring the chin back into the chest. This time, take the hands, place it on top of the head. Just sit the hands there, interlace fingers, no tension. You're going to continue to keep that body strong from the core, because when the hands sit on top of the head, it's going to want to press the body forward. But you want to squeeze the core and keep yourself strong in the mid-body, and just place the hands on the top of the head right where the dome shape is. It's right above the crown, or right behind the crown, going down the back of the head. And take about 3 breaths, full breath cycles. Inhale, pause, and exhale 3 times. And you're going to bring your hands down by your side. Take your right ear, bring it to the right shoulder, and start to just walk the right fingertips out. You're going to take your left hand and lift it up and look up, gaze up. So your ear is still now right near the right shoulder. So right ear, right shoulder, but now you're pivoting up and looking towards the ceiling. Bring that left hand down, bring yourself back up, walking the fingertips back. You're going to bring your left ear to your left shoulder, walk the fingertips out to the edge of the mat. And then bring up the right arm, look up, just pivoting gently. Even if it's just your eyes. And then bring the hand down, walk the fingertips back, and just come in for a few head rolls. About 5 on each side. You don't have to go in for a full 360 degrees. You're just taking it one step at a time. If you want to go in for the full thing, you can. This is about you finding what works best for you in your practice. All I ask is that you continue to breathe. And then we're going to come back to center. The eyes are at eyesight level. The chin is up. Sit in and breathe in and out. We're going to extend the arms out. Take the shoulders, roll them up towards the ears, and then roll them back. Inhale, breathe in, lift the shoulders up, and then roll back. Up and back. Up and back. And then come forward. Up and forward. Inhaling up. Exhaling back and forward. There we go. Good. We're going to take the arms, reach them up, lift them up overhead, press the palms up towards the ceiling, look up, gaze up, roll the shoulders away from your ears. We're going to try to ground our sits bone into the mat, so maybe just wiggle so you can feel your sits bone, and you're going to lean to your right and pivot up. We kind of did this pivot earlier. Look up, gaze up, and take the gaze up towards the ceiling. You're just pivoting back that left shoulder. Come to center, and then we're going to do it to the left, pivoting up on the right shoulder, looking up towards the ceiling, stretching the rib cage, stretching the lower back, keeping the sits bone melted into the mat beneath you. Come back up to center, arms come down by the side. Bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, press those arms down towards the mat. If you want, and it's in your practice, you can lift up the arm and lean forward a little bit, but you don't have to. If you want to just press down like you're pressing your fist through the mat, you can do that. Awesome. Breathe in and out, and then shake that out. We're going to stretch out the legs, but we're going to start out by stretching them in a way that we have soft knees. So sit up nice and tall in your seat. If you want, bring your hands behind you and get a little extension. And slowly start to just lower the legs down to a comfortable place. Right now I have about a fist worth of space between the bottoms of my knee and the mat. So you can find your space to start wherever you're comfortable, whether your knees are up higher or they're down lower, but just kind of keep them soft. We're going to lift our arms up, reaching up through the belly, through the rib cage, squeezing the core, and slowly pressing the belly towards the thighs. And then come and bring the hands to either the ankles, the toes, or the lower legs. And we're going to breathe about 5 breath cycles here, and each time you breathe, you can start to loosen the bottoms of the legs towards the ground until you feel as though you've gotten your stretch and that you're at about a moderate stretch in your legs. Belly is pressing towards the thighs. All right, 2 more breaths. Slowly we're going to lift up, belly, chest, and head. Arms rise overhead, hands come down then behind us and help us prop up. Lift up through the chest body, squeeze the shoulder blades, gazes up, chin is towards the ceiling. Come back to center. Yes. All right, we're going to take our right leg, and we're going to bend the knee, place the foot on the ground, and just for a moment, just sit here. Before we go and we move anywhere, I want you to notice what it feels like. It's a little maybe wobbly because now you're lifting one side of the leg and the other side is still planted on the ground. If you need to soften your left leg at all, go ahead and soften it. Softening that knee, maybe flexing the foot, making sure that the toes are waving hello to you. Arms rise, reach up overhead. You're going to pivot the body over towards the right. And then you're going to bring your hands down so that your left hand is on the outside of the left leg. Your right hand comes behind you. And I'll twist this way just so you can see me. All right. So my hand is just here for now, but if I want, I can do 2 things with this hand. I can hug my leg, so my left arm is hugging my left leg, or I can bring my elbow to the outside of the right leg. So left elbow to the outside of the right leg, and my hand can wave hello and face the right side. And then I can look behind me and look over my right shoulder. And this is a nice spinal twist. We're going to breathe through it. Try to sit up as dignified as you can in the pose. If If you want to soften that left leg, you're welcome to soften it, okay? Nothing that says it has to be glued to the mat. Take about 3 more breaths. Arms are going to reach up, lift up overhead. All right. We're going to actually pivot our body over now towards the left side. We're going to take our right elbow and place it on the inside of the right leg. Bring the left hand behind us and twist our bodies towards the left. Now our hand is waving hello to who's ever on our left side, and we're looking over our left shoulder. And this is what it looks like. And our hand is behind us, left hand is on the ground. The more you take your gaze over your shoulder, the better it's going to be. The more your body's going to twist towards that direction. And take about 3 breaths here. We're going to lift up, squeeze the core, arms come up overhead, come back to center, and then bring the hands by the side. And before we do anything, I want you to just bring your hands behind you, make sure they're holding you up, and wiggle your left foot, and then bring that left foot underneath that hole, that triangle on the right side. Okay? And bring the left foot up by the sits bone on the right side. Now you can stay just like this, where your foot is not necessarily crossed over the knee. You're just in this position. You're welcome to stay here. You can lean forward, just like this. But if you like, you can take it to 2 more levels. You can cross the leg over, all right? And you can hug yourself like this, or you can bring your hands down like this. Or you can bring them so that they're tight, and your knees are tight into Hero's Meditation. And then you can lean forward and bring the hands in front of you. So those are your options. And this is what it looks like. Remember, we have various options. It's up to you to find your place. I'm just going through all 3 of them so that you see there's things that you can do. Okay? And if you don't want to lean forward and you just want to keep your legs in any direction that I showed you, you can do that. It's completely fine. And take about 3 to 5 breaths here. Relaxing the body with each exhale. With each inhale, filling up completely, noticing you're supported with the breath. We're going to unwind our legs, taking our right leg and coming back to where we started. If your leg is already there, great. You can then pull out your left. We're going to stretch out both legs. Now you should feel a difference, right? So where we started from the first forward fold, where our legs were straight, our legs were maybe really high up. So we should be able to come down just a little bit more, but if not, just go to where you feel most comfortable. Arms are up, reaching up overhead, not the shoulders. We're lifting up through the belly, lifting up through the rib cage, pressing the belly forward towards the thighs and bringing the hands down once again, forward fold. Inhale and exhale. In any pose we do, try to find your rhythm of breath. If you're holding the breath, just be kind, acknowledge it, and invite new breath in. Remind yourself to breathe. Slowly we're going to come up. First our belly, then our chest, then our head. Arms reach up overhead. All right, we can drop that right leg down to the mat, and we're going to bend the left, and we're going to go on to the left side. All right, so get comfortable. Again, for your right leg, if you want to soften the knee, you can. Flex the foot so that the toes wave The toes wave hello. And we're going to lift our arms up, reach up overhead, pivot our body over towards the left side. The right arm comes just to lock around the top of the knee. Our left hand comes behind us. And we're looking over the shoulder. If you want to hook the outside of your right elbow to the outside of your left leg, you can do that. But you don't have to. You can always hug it. And take about 3 breaths. Make sure that they're full breath cycles. Inhaling, pauses, exhaling, and more pauses. Gently arms rise, still looking over towards the left side. We're going to come to center, and then we're going to pivot over towards the right. And we're going to take our left elbow and place it on the inside of the left leg. The fingertips are waving hello to the right side now. The right hand comes behind us, and we take our gaze, and we look over our right shoulder. And sit up as tall and dignified as possible. Breathe in and out. 3 breath cycles. Bring the hands up, reach them up overhead. You're going to take your hands, bring them behind you for support. We're going to take our right foot, wiggle the right foot, and bring it underneath through that triangle, weave it through that triangle, that space that's in between your leg on the left side, and bring the right foot by your sits bone. And we're going to start out with the first modification, the first part of the pose. Is just keeping our foot where it is. Left foot stays anchored where it's been. We can lean forward and stay just like this. Second part is crossing the leg over, finding a home for it in any place that we feel comfortable. Maybe the legs aren't tight yet, but we are just making progress daily towards getting into Hero's Meditation. And then you can lean forward and find a place for your hands, or you can sit up nice and tall, your choice. And the last part is that tight Hero's Meditation, where our knees are completely connected to one another. This is a really great hip opener. You can really feel it in your hamstrings. We're going to sit up a little bit taller, pressing the belly forward, dropping the chin to the chest, and bringing the hands out in front of us. That's an option with our hands, but we can always just sit up nice and tall. I'm going to sit up nice and tall just so that I can pay attention to you. But you go into your pose. 3 to 5 breath cycles. Probably lean more towards 5. Find peace with each inhale and exhale. Nothing to do and nowhere to go but to be in this pose. And gently undo the legs. Bring the hands behind us. Kick the feet out in front of you. All right, soften where you need to. Come into your forward fold, pushing the belly forward. Bringing the hands maybe a little bit closer to the ankles or to the toes if they haven't touched yet. Dropping the chin to the chest and really letting the body just relax. Slowly we lift up, belly, chest, and head. We're going to take the legs, we're going to cross them back together. And we're going to do eagle pose on the arms. So, and then we're going to do butterfly, and we're going to come down to the mat. All right. So let's bring our arms over to the sides, extending out, fingertip to fingertip, one long line of energy. You're going to take your right hand, place it in front of you. Take your left, and you see how we can just go right underneath. You're going to place the left arm, the left hand, I should say, right on the shoulder blade. The right hand is going to come on top of the left shoulder. Elbows are pressed together. They're away from the chest. And then we can come in and bind. Okay, this is what it looks like. We're binding the arms. If this is too intense for your shoulders, just stay in the hug position. All right? We're going to lean up just a little bit, and you can lean forward if it's in your practice. Bringing the elbows towards the ground, towards the legs. Still want to have a space that you can breathe. You don't want any arms collapsing on the chest. You hold your own weight up with your arms. And then gently we rise back up. Elbows come towards the ceiling, stretching out of the pelvic bowl. Come back to center. And just stay for another 2 breaths. And extend the arms out. And just bring them back and forth. Or like our butterfly, right? We're going to go do a butterfly pose, but this is like butterfly wings. All right, beautiful. Rest your arms for a second and breathe. Notice the left and the right side. Notice any differences. And take all that knowledge with you, everything that you've just learned about yourself during that pose, and apply it now to the other side. Extend the arms out full length. Take the left hand, bring it in front of you. All right, take the right, wiggle the right fingertips and go underneath. Just want to make sure you can hear me on my mic. And just bring your right hands to your shoulders. Bring the left hand on top of the shoulder like somebody's patting you, saying good job. Elbows are up, away from the chest. Drop the chin to the chest. You can stay just like this, or you can come into the bind. Now it's a process, so each side of the body is also different. So you can make that decision for yourself. Slowly we're going to lean up, pressing the elbows towards the ceiling, lifting out the pelvic bowl. And this is if you want to. You can stay where you are. You can come through the motion and bring your elbows down towards the ground, towards your legs. If you want them to touch and you want to relax, you can do that, or you can just keep yourself up and just bring them as close as you possibly can towards your feet. Slowly rise back up, pressing the belly up, lifting through. Elbows come up towards the ceiling, keep the chin tucked into the chest, and then come back to center. And stay here for about 2 breath cycles. Breathing through. This is a great mid-back body exercise. It's also a shoulder exercise. Arms are out. Undo them, unwind them, and let your butterfly fly. And then relax the hands down by the sides and just pause for a moment. Now we're going to take our legs and actually bring them into butterfly pose. So one of my favorite poses. So bring your feet together. Sometimes I see butterflies that have knees all the way up here. Some butterflies are all the way down here. Wherever you place your legs, it's fine. In fact, I want you to just kind of wiggle the legs a little bit like you're flapping them, just to ease into the pose. Sit up a little bit taller in your seat, anchoring through the sits bone, grounding up so that you're lifting through this part of the body into the rib cage. And then lean the belly forward. Go as far as you can. You don't have to press your complete belly down to your legs or your feet or anything. You can bring the hands in front of you if that's part of your practice. That's fine. It's just enough for me that we have our our hands together and we're leaning forward just a little bit. And you want to just feel this mild to moderate stretch right here on the inside of your thighs. Just a mild to moderate stretch. So if you're up here, mild to moderate. If you're down here, mild to moderate. Beautiful. And actually, we'll do one more seated pose since we're coming out of this. We're going to stretch out our left leg. All right. And we're going to keep our foot on the inside of the thigh. So left leg is stretched, foot on the right foot is on the inside of the right thigh. Arms reach up, lift up overhead, and you can come down and you can reach your hands for your toes. You need to soften the knee, soften the knees. Pressing the belly towards the thighs. And stay here for 3 breaths, 3 full breath cycles. Arms rise, reach up, lift up overhead. Hands come behind you. All right. We're going to come back into butterfly first. Lean yourself forward just a little bit. Get that stretch. Come back up. And we're going to stretch out the right leg this time. Keep the left foot pressed to the inside of the right thigh. Arms rise, reach up. Come down towards the toes. Remember, if you are not able to touch the toes, don't touch the toes. Like, just go to where you feel most comfortable. And that could even be, for some people, on their thigh. This could be intense, or coming down towards the ankles. So you have to determine it for you. Never do anything that hurts your body just because you see somebody else do it. You have to make these decisions for yourself and keep yourself safe. You shouldn't be beyond a moderate intensity at any time during this practice. So you shouldn't be beyond a 5. And if you have an injury, maybe not even beyond a 3 or a 2, considering if 10 was the most extreme and 1 was the least. Start to rise up, belly, chest, and head. All right, bring both feet together. Just flap them out a little bit more. And we're going to come on. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to come on to our tabletop position. All right. So I want you to get your body into a tabletop position. And we want to make sure that our knees are about hips width apart and our hands are shoulders length apart. If you need to for your knees, so say your knees are like very sensitive, you can bend your mat up. You can fold it as many times as you need to for your knees. Okay? When we go to do other poses, we will unfold the mat. But for right now, we're going to do some stuff in cat-cows and balancing, so it could be good for you to have some padding on your knees. All right, start to take a few breaths in and out, just feeling yourself in this tabletop position, knowing that you just transitioned from a seated position to this new profound way of being. You're going to take your right foot and lift it up and press it back. And you want to lift it up so much so that you're pressing away from your hip body and your hip bone. So it's almost like you're pressing back. And at the same time, lean the upper body forward. So you're doing this thing where you're leaning the upper body forward, your head is going towards the front of the room, and your foot is going towards the back. And then bring the knee down to the mat. Inhale and breathe in and do the same thing on the left side, pressing the left foot back behind you, leaning the upper body forward, squeezing the core, lifting through the pose. Inhaling and exhaling as we breathe in and out. And then bring the knee down to the mat. All right. We're going to start to do some rolls with our hip body. So start to just do some rolls, some figure 8s or some round movements. Go to the left and to the right just to loosen up your hips. And then we're going to come back to tabletop. If you like to do cat-cows with your toes tucked under, you can. If you like to do them with your feet flat, you can do that. I'm gonna do it with my toes tucked under. We're going to drop the chin to the chest. We're going to start to arch up the back body so that the back is coming towards the ceiling. Press through your hip body, coming down like you're winding through your thighs all the way down into the mat. Press the hands so that they are supporting you. You want to make sure that the knuckles of the palm are completely on the mat. And this is our scare cat of the pose. Scare cats have this back that arches. Then we're going to drop down into cow. And now our bellies are going to come towards the mat. Drop the head back. Imagine that your head and your hips can touch. Lift away so that your neck body is expanded. Navel drops down towards the bottom of the ground. And just pause for a moment. Now reverse. Come back into the cat. And do this about 4 times and find a rhythm with your breath. Only you can determine what your breath should be like, what it feels like. Only you can determine what parts of your body you may need to adjust to get the most out of this pose. Last one. And come back into that tabletop position. But this time we're going to come down into a child's pose. So to do that, we can keep our legs where they are, or you can spread them apart, or you can bring them closer together. Bring the belly towards the thighs, drop the head down towards the mat, drop the sits bone towards the heels. So the hips come down towards the heels. Arms are out in front of you or behind you based on how you have your legs positioned. And just shake your head, maybe rub it back and forth on the mat. Be gentle, giving yourself a nice little gentle massage on the forehead. Inhale and breathe in and allow the breath to come all the way down to the feet body. Imagine in your mind that you can make it to the feet, and on the exhale, release. Releasing out through the crown, the full body. Relax the shoulders, relax the body here. And we're going to come back up. We're going to come back into our tabletop position. I want you to take your right fingertips and I want you to just tap them on the mat so you know you're on your right. And you're going to take your fingertips and walk them underneath that part. It's almost like I want to say almost like a box or like a square on your left side. So you're going underneath the arm. Your shoulder is going to come down to the ground. Your left hand is still here for support. Right hand is pressed onto the ground as it stretches as far as it can towards the left side. Now, if you want, you can take your left foot and you can stretch it out behind you. You don't have to. You can stay just like this, but it's up to you. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Bring the knee back if the leg has been straight, and gently start to walk your right fingertips out. And I can literally say walking them out and come back into that tabletop position. Beautiful, beautiful. We're going to do the other side now. So tap the left fingertips. You want to hear that tap and imagine that that tap is leading you for them to walk underneath the right arm, laying the shoulder down on the mat, coming down to your ear. If you want to take that right leg and straighten it out behind you, you can. The right hand is still here to support you, just like it was on the left side. And just breathe. Another full breath cycle. And then another one. And then another one. Gently bring the knee back down if it's up. We're going to walk that left fingertips out. And we're going to come in to do a few more. Once we position ourselves, we're going to do a few more cat-cows. We're going to take it up and down. Again, finding the rhythm in your breath. Noticing the way the work that you're doing all comes together. All right. So if your mat has been pressed up, you can pull it back. We're going to start to transition to come up into the next part of this practice. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees up, and let them just hover off the ground. Just for now, that's all we're doing. Press your hands into the mat and slowly start to come up into a downward facing dog. And once you finally get there, just walk the feet up and down. Come in, fix it up. It's the first downward dog of the day, I'm assuming. I'm going to kind of move up a little bit more on my mat. Breathe in and out. Slowly take the right foot, lift the right foot behind you, pressing it straight onto the wall behind you. Remember, we did this just a few moments ago when we were in our tabletop position. We're just pressing the footprint behind us. If you want, you can go in for a downward dog split or a hip opener. It's up to you. Then we're going to bring the right foot back down to the mat. And then come on to the left, pressing the foot behind us. It's like we're lifting away from the hip body, still pressing our hands into the mat, pressing that so much that it's like we're ripping our mat in half. If you want to go to a downward dog split, or if you want to open up, you can do that into a hip opener. And then bring the foot back down. Those are your options. We're going to slowly start to walk our feet forward and then bring our hands towards our feet until we're in a forward fold position. And just stay here for a moment. Maybe rotate the wrist a few times. Shake back and forth to the left and to the right like a rag doll. Next, you can find a place or a home for your hands, either behind the legs. Maybe elbows connect to one another, or you're touching your toes. Your choice. And just embrace this first forward fold of the class. That's standing. Soften the knees, and we're going to gently come up all the way to standing vertebrae by vertebrae to the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, standing. Try not to fix anything. Wherever your clothes go is where your clothes go. All right, we're standing up. I'm going to turn this way so you can see me. And just pause for a moment. Maybe open up the hands, mountain pose. There's just a moment to, again, be in this sense of transition. Make sure the feet are about hips width apart. Keep the knees soft. Slowly, we're going to bend the knees just a little bit. Lift the arms, reach them up overhead. Sit a little bit lower into our seat and come into a chair pose. Now, the thing about chair pose is you have range, okay? So even if you're here, where you're just a little bit down in your chair, that's fine. If you want to come and take a full seat into your chair, you can. Make sure that your knees, though, are not running over your toes, but that they are behind your toes. You should be able to see the tips of your toes. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, lift up out the pelvic bowl, and breathe. And take the gaze up. That's the other thing. You want to look up. And then slowly come into standing. Back bend slightly if it's in your practice, and bring the hands down by your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift up. Slowly on the exhale, start to come down into your chair. Lift up through the pelvic bowl. Sit a little bit lower. Gaze is up. Challenge yourself just a little bit. Feel like all the weight that's coming from the feet is completely supported from the ground. So press your feet into the ground just a little bit more and squeeze the thighs. And then lift up, reach up overhead, back bend slightly. Hands come down by the sides. Last one, arms rise. Inhale, breathe in. Sit a little bit lower if it's in your practice. Rising up through into your chair pose. Sit into a place where you feel supported, but you know you're challenging yourself. Only you know and can hold yourself accountable for this. Gaze is up. 3, 2, 1. Arms is up, reaching up overhead. Soften the knees. Come down, forward fold. And shake that out. All right, beautiful, beautiful. We're in a half lift flat back, lifting our upper body forward, squeezing the core. Stay here for a moment. Allow your chest to be parallel with the ground beneath you, and then exhale, let go. Slowly rise up, reach up, overhead, back bend slightly, and hands come down by the sides. See how we're doing with time? Okay, we're fine. We're going to start to get into some of our warrior sequences, and then we're going to come down to the mat, completely laying, one cobra, then we're going to flip over and come into our last poses and then savasana. So we're going to open up our legs. I always like to start with a triangle. So open those legs up. Allow the arms to extend out. Breathe in and out. I want you to lean your body a little bit over to the right and then lean your body a little bit to the left. Try to isolate the upper body just so that you're feeling the chest and the hand move. Okay? Your hips are steady. They're right where they are. All right? You're going to take your right foot and press your right foot forward so that it's facing the right wall. Soften the knee just a little bit. Lean the upper body just like we did, isolating. You don't need the lower body for this, just the upper body, leaning it towards the right, and then come down like an airplane. Bring the hand to the ankle to start, or to the leg or to the thigh, wherever you are. Extend out the range in your feet so that way your left and your right leg have the right range. And if you can bring your hand all the way down to the mat or on top of the foot, your choice. Keep the gaze up, look up towards the ceiling, triangle pose. We're going to drop the arm. Remember, we're isolating. We're thinking of our body in two ways. So drop the left hand behind us, and imagine somebody's lifting your hand up and they're lifting you out the pose. And then pivot back to a standing position. You're going to take your right foot and just bring it about 45-degree angle. Now you're going to take your left and you're going to press your left foot forward towards the left wall. Soften the knee, right? So rigid knee looks like this. Soft knee is like that. Has a little bit of softness to it. Start to press the upper body alone forward towards the left side, just like an airplane swoops down, right? Take your hand, left hand finds a home. Get your body into a position that you feel comfortable with the range in your triangle, and look up your right arm so that you're looking at the right fingertips and looking at the ceiling. Right arm comes down and somebody's going to lift you up out the pose. You're pivoting out the pose, coming back to center. Hands come down by the side, bend and up, come down, bend, and stay this time right here, opening up the legs, squeezing the thighs, pressing back on the chest, If you want, you can bring your hands to the heart center. Inhaling and exhaling. If you want to take it a step further, you can come out just a little bit and drop your head down in between your legs. You can also lean back and forth. So it's your choice. Okay, so those are your modifications. Come back up. Squeeze the core. Lift up. Arms come up overhead. We're going to pivot our body now so that we're right side. Right foot is facing forward. The left foot is at about a 45-degree angle. There is space in between our legs. It's like we're on train tracks. Our right foot is on the right side of the train track. Our left is on the left side. Sit a little bit lower into your knee. Come into a lunge. You're going to press the right hip back. Bring the left hip forward. Arms rise overhead. Roll those shoulders away from the ears. Warrior one. Take the gaze up. And you can adjust your warrior one until you find yourself in the most ideal position where you're challenging yourself, but you're not hurting yourself or you're not unbalanced. Then we're going to open up, warrior two. Look over the right fingertips. The left hand is behind you. We're going to come into side angle. Bring your right arm to the top of the thigh. Left hand is up in the air, side angle. It's a little bit different than triangle, but it's similar in some ways. Just try to find peace in the pose. If you want to go in for a hip opener, you can, bringing both your hands up. You're welcome to do that. Your choice. Or if you want to lean your hand forward from your left side, you can do that as well. We're going to come back to center, come back up to warrior two. We're going to lean our upper body forward. Remember, our legs are isolated, so it's just our upper body. We're pivoting it forward. Sky flip the palm. We'll reverse back. Your left hand can come onto your thigh, or you can go in for a bind. Come back to center. Reverse through. Like we're cartwheeling back into our warrior one pose. And then hands come down by the side and come back to center. Come back into that triangle pose, softening the knees. Pausing for a moment and then coming on to the left side. All right, so we're going to bend the knee so that it's stacked. Left knee is stacked on top of the ankle. Our right foot now is at a 45-degree angle. Left foot is facing forward. Squeeze the thighs, keep them completely active. Bump back on the left hip, let the right hip come forward so that you're square. Imagine like you're right in line with your mat. Arms is up, warrior one on the left side. Adjust the legs, adjust the feet until you find yourself in that position of challenge. You're still balanced, but you have challenge. Open up into warrior two. Left hand goes forward, right hand goes behind you. Look over the left hand. Take that left arm, bring the left arm right on top of the left thigh. Right hand goes up, side angle. If you want to bring that arm straight above the head so that the bicep is towards the ear, you can. Or if you want to go in for a hip opener or strengthener, a belly strengthener, you can do that as well. Core or belly, whichever way. Come back out, warrior two. Start to pivot the upper body towards the left. Sky flip the left hand, come back, reverse warrior, find a home for your right hand. You can lay it on the thigh or binds. You can also just reach for the back of your clothing if you're in the middle of learning how to bind. Back into warrior two. cartwheel ourselves around, warrior one. And feel the sense of dignification. Bring the hands down. And we come back into that stance, but bring your legs in just a little bit closer together. And I want you to, if you can do this, you can either come all the way down to the mat and put yourself in this pose, or you can come from the standing position. We're going to start to slowly bend the knees, and we're going to come into frog. So we're going to bend the knees, we're going to bend the legs down. You can press your hands onto the ground. The other thing you can do is just bring the hands together, pressing the palms, squeezing the knees into the elbows, and pressing the elbows back up against the knees. And if you like to go into the balancing part of frog, you're welcome to do that. Completely your choice. So you have all these options, and you can always just do one toe at a time. All right. All right, bring the hands down, come down to sitting on the ground, and we're going to start out laying with our bodies. We're transitioning belly to the ground to come into cobra. All right, so the toes come straight down, the tops of the feet are on the ground, thighs are on the ground, the shoulders are by the sides. You can come just to start laying down, bringing your right ear to the mat. This is just a moment of relaxation. And then squeeze the belly, squeeze the core, lift the chest up, bring the hands in front of you so you come into cobra. Back bending slightly. Chest is up, heart is up. If you want to extend your arms straight, you can. I always suggest just starting kind of with the elbows bent by the sides. You can always go full throttle in a few moments. And then come down, left ear to the mat. Squeeze the core, come back up, cobra pose. You want to lift up, you can. And gently bring the elbows back down. Bring the ear to the mat and just feel your chest press against the floor with the inhale. This is a beautiful opportunity to just notice your breath. And then you'll feel the floor press against your chest and your belly. And you'll see that the breath is really alive and active here. See if you can take a moment of gratitude for each breath. We're going to press ourselves up a little bit, and you just want to kind of roll over to your back body. You can keep the knees bent, or you can bend the knees. And first thing I want you to do is bring the knees up towards the heart and just kind of roll back and forth and give yourself a nice little back massage. You can also roll forward and back like this as well. Keep the right leg, keep the right knee in the hand, drop the left leg down. You're going to take the right knee and just cross over to the left. And take the right arm out and keep it straight. Looking over the right side while your knee is over to the left. Your right knee is over to the left. Nice spinal twist. We're going to come back up to center. Come out of that pose. Bring both knees back to the chest and just roll back and forth. Drop the right leg down to the mat. Keep the left knee in the hands. And then bring the left knee over towards the right side this time. And you're going to look over your left arm, stretching out the left arm, looking over to the left side while your left knee is actually towards the right and is twisted. And just breathe. Gently come back up to center. Both knees come back to center. We're going to do butterfly pose and happy baby here. So bring the feet together. All right, feet are pressed together. If you want, you can wiggle the legs a little bit, but just feel that. And then undo the feet and come into happy baby, where you just kind of rock back and forth. You can reach for your toes or the outsides of the feet. You stretch the legs up and down, make sounds, just like a happy baby would. Ah, spit raspberries, whatever you want to do. Just try to have fun with it. And bring the legs, bring the feet down to the mat. Keep the knees bent, but bring the knees up towards the sits bone. Hands are by the sides. Gently, we're going to come up into bridge, lifting up, lifting our hips up. This is a really good way, the last pose to end class. Gently bring the back body down, vertebrae by vertebrae. We're going to do 2 more of those. Squeezing up, squeezing the thighs. Imagine that there's something in between your thighs that's helping you reach up a little bit more. If you want to interlace the hands behind you, you can, going underneath the back body. Gently undo the arms, back down. Last one, make it count. Use that breath. Breathing in, amazing. Look at you, lifting up even a little bit more, and then come down, vertebrae by vertebrae. All right, if there are any last minute poses that you want to do, you're welcome to do them. Otherwise, I'm going to tell us to come right into Savasana. You can drop the legs down if it's in your practice to do so. If you want to keep the knees bent, you can do that as well. You can sky flip the hands, relax the body. This is a moment to not skip over. Congratulate yourself on a job well done. You didn't have to come to yoga today, but you did. And every breath that you took stands to be a witness. Each inhale and exhale helping you and supporting your body, supporting your mind, supporting your spirit, supporting your life, and anything else that you feel as though your breath supports in this moment. Relax the feet, relax the ankles, let the legs maybe fall apart from one another. Relax the sit bone, the back body, let it melt into the mat a little bit more with each breath. Notice the belly rise and fall, and then relax. Relax the arms and the shoulders. Let the tongue fall away from the top of the mouth. Relax the mind and the crown of the head. And continue to just be here, be present in Savasana. Letting go. Letting go of anything that does not serve you in this moment. And just breathe. You're welcome to stay in Savasana as long as you like. And by leaving the session now, we're going to stay in it for a few more moments, and then I will ring the singing bowl to close class. And when you're ready, you can get up, gently rolling on to one side or the other, and pushing yourself up and coming into a seated position. And we're going to close class the same way that we started. Breathing in and out. And feel free to take all part and none of this class with you. You don't have to take anything at all. You can leave it here on the mat, or you can take it for each part of your day. Always reconnecting to the breath at any moment that you need it. And bring your hands together, palms together, heart center. I thank you so much for joining me today. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.